Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to the Crafty Crow Show. Oh, okay, guys. We're doing a lot of restoration ideals. Now that I've got the space to do it, I've not done them in a while, there's a few things to do. So today's video is going to be something that's going to apply to all of us that are outdoors, do things in the outdoors and stuff. A lot of bushcrafters and things like the carbon steel knives. Now, there's nothing wrong with stainless or anything. I kind of like the carbon steel knives too, honestly. But one of the problems with carbon steel knives, they require a lot of maintenance. Well, I ain't gonna say a lot of maintenance, just some preventative maintenance stuff that you need to do to keep them in tip-top shape. So today, I had a friend, David, that had just given me this knife. And here it is. It's a Condor. It's a Nesmic style knife. You can see by the hump on the back. And if you don't know who Nesmic is, he was one of the first guys that wrote outdoor survival manuals, kind of when camping first started becoming a recreational thing instead of something you had to do to survive. So he designed his own knife, and I don't have his book. I know David Canterbury is big on, he's even got a series on Nesmic series on camping, but he's about going out, like I said, pioneer of the actual camping like we do today. And he was kind of a minimalist. So you can see this blade, it's pretty rusty. I think David said he just had it out. The reason he gave it to me, figured I could do a video on it and get it back to working shape. This is, it's not 1095 steel. Honestly, I can't remember what it is. Condor does a little bit lower grade steel, but I know Condor has some good knives, and Condor knives are really good bush knives, especially for starters. I just about bought, they've got a bushcraft knife, I believe. Jason has one and let me borrow it. I just about bought that, but I decided to save it and get one bigger. But had I not, I would have definitely went with one of the Condor knives. Because like I said, a little bit milder steel, but they still hold the edge good and they're good knives. So this knife we're going to restore, plus the sheath, get it shined back up and make it all pretty. We're doing both of them for John, for my son John. He's been going out camping some with me and stuff, and I want to make sure he's got equipment he needs. So as I get it or upgrade mine, I've been handing my old stuff over to him. That way he's got the equipment that he needs. Plus, John has for years kind of collected knives. He's got lots of different little folders and things, and we found a bunch of knives here in the building. We was cleaning out. He took a bunch of them upstairs with him. So he's got a little bit of a knife collection. He said he liked this one. Since I don't need a good fixed blade belt knife, now that I've got that Mountaineer, we're going to get this one in tip-top shape for John. So stick with us. This ought to be a good video for you guys that's got these carbon knives, especially when they get in that kind of condition, what to do with them and how to get them back into working shape. All's not lost when they're rusty. You just got to put a little elbow grease into them. So stay with me, guys. We'll get this one cleaned up. Shouldn't take too long. We'll be right back with you. This is the Crafty Crow Show. As you can see, tons of rust. Tons of it. But, like I said, that's all right. So, first thing, we'll get the sheath out of there, and pretty much just going to get a damp cloth. Rub it down real good all over, because we're going to do a little bit of treatment on that, so it's not going to hurt it to be wet. But sheath's not too bad a shape. And we'll just dry that off. We'll set it to the side, let it dry good, and then probably treat it last, 'cause it's not that big of a deal. Nothing like this big baby. So I'm trying to figure out how to do these restoration videos, guys, that don't drag out for 40 minutes like my fire extinguisher. So hopefully we'll get that figured out. First thing we want to do, as thick as that is, I'm trying to take this file to it and just see if we can scrape off the edge of it. Yeah, and that's working pretty good to get most of that off. And we'll start with the body first, then we'll go along the spine, and then we'll do the edge last. There. And just that quick. Got all that surface rust off. You know, it's going to be peated because it started rusting some, but that's all right. The more use and everything you get out of it, the better it's going to look. And it'll give it that patina. These come with like a grayish looking coating on them. I redone Jason's because it was getting a little rough and sharpened it for him. I took most of that off, and I don't know if he liked that or not. I hope that he did. He said he did. But it's a protective covering for it. So, I mean, we're not going to take this thing down to shiny. You can do that if you want to, and there's no problem with it at all. So let's try to shine up on this with a little bit of steel wool. But you can see how quick, I mean, even just a little bit of a file and a wire brush, and this is one of our brass wire brushes, clean that off. So I'm going to take some steel wool across it, and we'll get to working on this edge because it's pretty rough looking. All right. So now that's all that's left is our edge. 5 million different ways to do an edge, I know, and I've got a few different ways. But for the rough end, to keep from using my diamond stones, getting them all clogged up, we're going to use this little file again and try to get all that rust off and get it down to close to an edge. Then we'll finish off with our diamond stones. Well, this ain't the best file. I'll go ahead and tell you that. And I don't have a file card here, which I need to get. But you can take your wire brush, go the opposite way on your files, because they cut going that way. So if you go the opposite way with the brush or something, it cleans out all of the file grooves and just lets it cut better. That's all we were doing right there. Now when you're doing this, I know everybody's scared to touch this, and so many strokes on the side. There's a million different opinions on sharpening blades. Right now, we're not worried about the sharpening. We're just trying to take off material and get all this down smooth. This thing apparently had never been sharpened because I can see a lot of the lines from where they actually first cut this bevel on it. To get it lined up, and this one done it, just get your file at the right angle. You can feel it. And it started shining at the edge and up here at the top first. So then we're going to cut down until we get it totally smooth. I don't do secondary bevels and stuff on my knives. I mean, one, I don't see much need, and two, I don't know how to do it. But don't be scared that you're going to mess it up. I mean, your first one, yeah, you might mess it totally up. But, I mean, you're going to have to learn somehow. And with the price point stuff, these condors, that's all right because they're not that expensive. Now, at this point, you know, we're shining at the edge. And I know you probably can't see that very good, but we're shining at the edge, so we would be all right for the most part of it, looks like, to be able to just sharpen that now. But you want to try to stay at your right angles, is kind of the point. But it's not as scary as the things you might think it is. And yes, using a file is a little aggressive, but if you got a lot of chips and stuff in your blades, I mean, that's going to get it out quicker. Just be careful, take your time. You know, I am going faster now than I usually did, but just take your time and you'll get it. it's a learning process. Like I said, I am by no means an expert. Just a fat boy trying to figure it out as I go. All right, I won't bore you with this. Once I get these both sides cleaned up, we'll do the same thing on the other side. Once I get them cleaned up, we'll come back. All right, now, as you can see, you still see some of the lines. I don't know if you can or not, but all the rust was gone. And that didn't take, I mean, even off camera, that didn't take too awful long to do. So that's a quick touch up. You can leave it there, but we want to make sure it's sharp. So got just a little, I think it's AccuSharp. It's a little diamond stone. Got it at Tractor Supply. Diamond stones, man, I've been loving them lately. So they cut good, they cut quick, and but you can do this with sandpaper. I do have big flat diamond stones for my chisels and stuff, but this thing is easier, a lot easier. And if you are backpacking or something or camping, you can put this in your pack and touch your knife up in the field. This thing don't weigh that much. It's pretty small. Don't take up much space. So I love these things. Now's one of the critical part of getting your right angles and stuff. So, just get your knife. You can find your angle. You can usually see it. I'm starting with the coarse side first, but just match that angle up. And this thing ought to cut pretty quick because I found this one cleaning out the building. I thought I had another one somewhere, so I found it. And this will start taking off all of that tool markings and file markings. But just find your angle, get your angle right. And it don't take much. Just patience and take your time. That's the biggest thing with sharpening a knife that I've found, just patience and take your time. All right. So now, rust cleaned off. That's sharp, and no, it's not shaving sharp or anything, but it's sharp enough to do what you want in the field. And if John wants it sharper, he's going to have to learn how to sharpen. I mean, that's what I've had to do. Might kind of sound harsh, but it's going to help him in the long run if he learns how to sharpen these. And I'll show him and let him use my stuff. But sharp as I want to get it right now. And it will cut. I'm having to wash the blade. So after you get this part done, make sure that you wash that blade. Now, how to finish it? What we're going to do to finish it? Well, we're going to oil it, and I'm going to get some fixing wax. And I'll show that to you here in just a second. Fixing wax, fixing wax. What is fixing wax? Everybody's got their own recipe. I made a big batch of this up. This is just, what have I got in this? Vitamin E oil, beeswax. There's something else. I don't remember what I put in there now. But you can use this stuff. It's pretty much, it's not got any chemicals in it. So you can use this as lip balm. You can use this to treat your tools. You could use this for fire starting. Lots of different uses. People have made it over the years for lots of different reasons. So I found a recipe, something I like, put it. You can tell this one's divoted out. I've used it some, but I use it on my tool handles. Keep some of this in my bag, and I've got plenty left because it makes a pretty big batch. But this won't harm you. It's good for you, actually. It's good for your skin. Put it on chapped fingers, so it's good, something good to have. Now, in this state, I will agree, it's pretty daggone hard. But because it's beeswax and stuff, it'll start melting with your body temperature. But this is a good thing to put on your tools. So we'll just get this, rub this in the handle. And with those oils and stuff, it'll help this wood out. As you can see, it's already getting kind of pasty just with the heat from my hand. But where it's the beeswax stuff, it will coat this metal. It'll coat the wood. The vitamin E oil will give the wood a little bit of nourishment. And just overall, man, it'll work wonders. But that's the thing with this high carbon steel. You want to coat it with something. and go along the edge of the blade and don't cut your fingers off. But I usually get a decent little coat on it. But this coating will help moisture and stuff from getting to that steel and help protect it. You know, after you use it, if you're out camping or something, you use it. And when you come home, you should clean all your material and your equipment up and make sure it's ready for the next trip. But it's a good thing to put this on your knife. You know, I've got this on my Mountaineer knife, my PKS Mountaineer. But I think it'll work just fine. Plus, it gives a good shine and stuff to the wood. I got something with wood tools. I like wood handles and things. And, you know, wood handles are something that you can replace if it breaks. You know, a knife is a little bit different, but like my axes or something that I've got hanging back here, that wood is really good because when you do eventually break it, because it's all going to eventually break, you can feasibly take your knife and stuff and can make you a new handle and get it back working. So, you know, in those type scenarios, that's a good skill to know and learn. So there's the thin coating. You see that it's kind of shined up on the handle. This beeswax will harden back up once it cools back off, but you can see my hand kind of shiny. It's actually good on your hands. I've put it on there a few times. So love this little formula. Like I said, beeswax, vitamin E, and something else. I can't remember what the third ingredient is, and I should have remembered. But you know how it is getting old. You lose your memory. So there we go. There's the knife. Now, all we got to do is get the sheath done. Sheath won't take but a second. Actually, we'll go ahead and do the sheath now. So the only thing left is the sheath. You can use this fix and wax on the sheath if you want to. Because that, again, the vitamin E oil and stuff would be good nourishment. But I've got a little bit of mink oil. And a little bit, I mean a little bit. I usually use this on a lot of my sheaths, especially when they need some work. So I figured we'd just finish this thing off. Or put it good and heavy on the stitch lines. But then you just rub this stuff in. Usually I use this, all the different chemicals and linseed oil and stuff, everything I use. When I come in the house, Kathy's like, what did you use? Because the woman's got a nose like a bloodhound, but she can smell everything. And she'll smell this stuff. Or I'll be sitting, I've done these, sitting over in the living room while we're watching TV or something, and she just shakes her head at me. But it's usually a relaxing thing that I like doing. But you know, you got to take care of this leather stuff too. Leather sheaths are awesome to have, but they require maintenance like everything else. You know, a lot of this older stuff, I like it better, the leather and stuff, instead of the Kydex or all that. And I know the Kydex and everything is great stuff. I'm not knocking it, but I like the more traditional look of this stuff. I like the smell of the leather. I just like it more traditional thing, you know. You get along all your edges of the leather. Because this will just help treat it and protect it, keep it from drying out and cracking on you. Because this is what, you know, is going to stay in your pocket, or not in your pocket, it's going to stay on your belt. But it's going to protect that knife more and protect you from stabbing yourself. So try to get it everywhere you can reach. And they make plenty of leather conditioners, this, that, and the other. It's... And there's no one thing I don't think better than the other. There probably is, but this is what I've got. This is pretty readily, easily obtainable. I've had this container of mink oil for I don't know how long. I usually also try to get some on my finger and get down in that knife, in that sheath as far as I can. Because like I said, that'll waterproof on both sides. And some of that will rub off on the knife too, and that's fine. If you plan on using your knife for food prep, it's better to use something like this fix and wax or something like that, just because you ain't got to worry about getting your food. You know, I could actually use that to cook with some if I needed to. But you can use oil and stuff on it, and that's great. But if you're planning on using any kind of food prep, and you know, you never know if you're going to, it's better to use some of this stuff. And I'm sure the mink oil is not really able to be used in food, but That's how I treat my knives. Maybe it don't matter. Come to think of it, I don't know. So, wipe off the excess. And that'll set a little while, and it'll bring out a good look. And with these condor knives, you get these sheaths with them. So it's all, you know, like I said, I think the Nesmith was a little bit more. That bush lore, I believe, was the name of the bushcraft knife I was looking at. Bush lore is around $50. This one might have been about 60. But it comes with this good, you know, nice leather sheath, and the stitching and everything looks good on it. So the company makes a lot of different tools, but because they actually make hand tools and stuff too. But their knives look pretty good. Like I said, not as high carbon steel as some of these higher dollar ones, but actually nothing to sneeze at. So there we go. Took an old rusty, looking knife to something that's a little more presentable now. So we've got that one done. Looks way better than what it did. All right, and there's our knife for John. Turned out good. I think he'll be happy with it. So, thanks guys for stopping by. I just want to do that for him, give you a video. Like I said, I'm doing a whole lot of projects right now in the shop because we have a shop. Hope y'all enjoying the background. I've got a little bit more stuff done to yet. We'll continue to do a little bit more. But thanks for stopping by at the Crafty Crow Show. Hope y'all enjoyed the video, and leave a like, comment, subscribe if you've not already. And we appreciate you coming. As always, be good to one another as the good Lord tells you. We'll see you guys in the next video.